Welcome back. We are now going to look at the video sharing app YouTube. And then we will search and select YouTube in Zapier. And you're going to see a number of applications, but we're first going to scroll down to the bottom. And we're going to note that YouTube has both triggers and actions. Once again, triggers means that something happens in YouTube. We can then automate a process in another application. Actions means that we can start a process in another application and then have that action happen in YouTube. And either of those methods will be of interest to us. For example, we can post a YouTube video matching a specific search string to WordPress, which means that we can be specific about the videos that we're going to be posting to our site. So we're going to start this process by clicking Use this Zap. So Zapier tells us what we can do with this app, and basically what we're doing is we're sharing videos according to search string to our WordPress site. And we're going to start the process by creating this Zap. So the trigger is going to be someone uploads a video with a specific search string. We're then going to click Continue. We're going to then connect a specific YouTube account. We're going to then allow Zapier to manage this account. We're then going to click Test Account. Once we've verified that it's worked, we're going to click Save and Continue. We're then going to write in a search string and then click Continue. Zapier will then look for an existing video. We'll click Fetch and Continue. And our test is now successful. We'll then click Continue. We'll now create a sample post in WordPress. We'll need to specifically connect to a WordPress blog. We're then asked to write in the site we're going to be using, the username, and then the password. Once we've done that, we're then going to click Continue. Once the site is connected, we'll click Test. We'll verify that the test has been completed. We'll then click Save and Continue. We'll then determine how we want the post to be set up. So in other words, what we can do with this particular Zap is we can determine how we're going to have the post sent. We'll have the posts sent over as drafts so we can approve them. So once we verify that there is a post title, that there is going to be a YouTube video going into the post, we're then going to click Continue. We're now going to click Send Test to WordPress. And once we've done that, we'll then click Finish. And now our Zap is officially turned on, so that every time there is a YouTube video posted with the search string that we designated, it will then be posted to our WordPress site. And now if we check inside of our WordPress site, we'll see there's our post with the title that we anticipated, and so our Zap is working. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. We're now going to look at GoToWebinar as an application being used in Zapier. So we'll then select GoToWebinar in the search bar. And you'll notice a number of different applications, but what we're going to do is first go down to the Zapier app details. And you'll notice that there are triggers and there are actions for GoToWebinar. GoToWebinar has traditionally not been able to provide lead generation connections. Therefore, Zapier affords you the ability to add your GoToWebinar registrants to your Aweber list, your GetResponse list, your Infusionsoft list, and your MailChimp list. All of those are integrations that you can test with GoToWebinar. You can also automate the process of registering new GoToWebinar attendees from your Facebook lead ads. Since a common connection is Aweber, we'll take a closer look at how you integrate the two. So we're going to click Use this Zap. So we're then going to click Create this Zap. And the trigger is going to be when someone registers for a webinar. So we're then going to click Continue. So we'll verify that we have already done this. Once we have verified the event, we'll then click Continue. We'll then send a test to GoToWebinar. Once we've verified that it is working, we'll then click Continue. We'll then select a certain webinar, and then we'll click Continue. Now, in order to test the connection, we need to have at least one registrant already created. So we'll need to make sure that we have that done, and then we'll click Fetch and Continue. Zapier will verify that the test is working. We'll then click Continue. And now we'll look to create a new subscriber inside of Aweber. We'll then test the Aweber connection. We'll then click Save and Continue. Now, this is a good place to note that you can have multiple accounts set up with the same company. So if you have multiple Aweber accounts, you can set them all up with Zapier. So we're going to choose the account that we're going to be using, and then we're going to choose a specific list. Once we have our account and list, and we've verified the email and name, we're then going to click Continue. Once we have it, we'll then send a test to Aweber. And now our test subscriber has been sent. Once we click Finish, our Zap is turned on. And you'll then see the Confirm Email Request. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. In this video, we're going to take a look at a commonly used application, Google Docs. And when you look at the app details, you'll notice that there are triggers, actions, and searches for Google Docs, so there are lots of integrations. One thing that Google Docs does not do extremely well by itself is to work with some of the other applications within Google. For example, if you wanted to create a text file in Google Docs for every email that matched a search, you wouldn't be able to do that strictly using Google. However, you can do it using Zapier. And so we're going to click Use this Zap. And what this will do for us is that it will keep records of ingoing and outgoing emails that match a specific search parameter. And of course, this can be helpful to us depending on what kind of market that we are in. So we're going to start the process by creating this Zap. So the trigger is going to be that we receive a new email by a search string that we determine. So we're now going to connect the Gmail account that we want to use. So once we have the Gmail, we'll then click Test. We'll confirm that the test has been rendered, and then we'll click Save and Continue. So we're going to pick a subject that we'd want to create a document about. In this particular case, we're going to use the search term Zapier. Now again, this has nothing to do with the course, and this will be peculiar to you. So in other words, you will use the search term that's most relevant to you and your business or organization. Once we click Continue, Zapier will ask us to make sure that we have at least one email matching the search criteria. And what we're going to do is we're now going to click Fetch and Continue. Zapier confirms that we have a successful test. We'll now click Continue. And of course, we're going to create a document from text, so we're going to click Continue. And now we're going to select a Google Docs account. We'll allow Google to operate our account, and then we'll click Allow. We'll then click the test, verify that it's successful, and then click Save and Continue. So what we're going to do now is we're going to give our document a title every time that it actually is placed inside of Google Docs, as well as content to be placed inside of the document. Once we do that, we'll then click Continue. We're then ready to send a test to Google Docs. And our test document is now sent. We'll then click Finish. Once we do that, our Zap will be officially turned on. And we'll then confirm that we have our new Zapier information doc that was created from a specific email. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.